Hi, welcome to episode 77 of the Passionate Spinner podcast. My name is Tracy. You can find me as Schnüffelt here on Raverly and Instagram. There is a Ravelry group for the podcast. Please come over and join, and thank you so much for being here. So, today I am wearing the sorbetto top that I showed you last week, and I'm going to stand up to show you how it turned out. Now, this is an old button down from my husband that I converted into this top for myself. I'm really happy with it. The only thing I don't like is the neckline because it looks wrong. You know, I think it would be better if the things up here were a bit shorter, but around the house it's perfect. So yeah, that's what I'm wearing today, and I'm quite happy with it. It's not going to be my go-to pattern, but it's wearable. So good. Knitting in the past. I have two pairs of socks to show. Also some things in my shoe and it's bothering me. So, okay, good. Now, I have two pairs of socks to show. The first one you've seen last week, and it is this pair of socks for my husband. I knit this pair with a German indie dyed yarn from Adoptivwolle. It's a very soft merino high twist sock yarn, and they just turned out great. I used 72 stitches on US 2s top down, like I always knit my socks for my husband, and they fit perfectly because, you know, after knitting at least 50 or 60 pairs for him, I have that fit down. So first pair done, German size 45, and that is just, it's big. I don't know the American size. So that's the first thing. And then I cast on a new pair of socks and finished it. So here it is. Second pair. This is for my shop. It's already in my shop. And I used a German indie dyed yarn from Knitting Spiro. It's a normal sock yarn. It does not have a name. It has a bunch of numbers on it, but no name. So yeah. This is the yarn. That's the leftover of the yarn. I think the socks turned out really nice. The only thing that I know, some people say that's the magic of hand-dyed yarn, but for me it's just not well done. As you can see, this sock here is way more intense in the purple than this one. That, you know, I can't change that. That's just the way the yarn worked out, and on this pair, I think it's okay, but I had pairs of socks before where they just looked like they were from two different skeins of yarn altogether, and I'm not a fan of that. So yeah, here they are, finished in the shop. It's a German size 39-40, and I think it was 8.5 US. Again, top down with 64 stitches because these are for women, and on US 2s. So two pairs of socks done, and I'm quite happy. It's pairs number 14 and 15 for the year, and I'm happy to be back into my sock knitting because I used to knit a lot more socks than that, and I just the last few years kind of lost steam, and now I'm back on track. So it makes me very happy because I have a crazy amount of sock yarn in my stash. So for knitting in the present, I have two things. And they're both by Joji Locatelli because she's my favorite designer. I just love her aesthetic. Every time she brings out a new pattern, I want to have it. So the first thing I'm going to show you is in my basket. And it is the Foxy sweater. So I have done a little bit of work on it. But not all too much because I was alone with the kid. And when I am alone with the kid, I cannot really concentrate on things, and I was at the point where I had to divide for front and back, and as I did cast on less stitches than a pattern calls for, I had to do a little math, and yeah, that was just too much. I also stopped in the middle of a row, which I almost never do, but I did. So I divided for front and back about 2 inches ago. Here's my marker where I started knitting again yesterday, actually, because it was the first time I touched it, and I'm just gonna let's try to show you the pretty color. There we go. I'm using Wollmeise Twin in a unknown colorway because it just doesn't show on the label. I can't tell you, it's just I don't know. And I'm gonna show you a skein of yarn. I have 4 of these. I think I'm gonna use up 2.5 or 3. So this is the color. And yeah, like I said, this one says Unglücksrabe, which was bought in the summer sale. And I think the other ones say we're different. So I don't know what it is. It's pretty. That's enough for me. And yeah, like I said, the pattern is called Foxy. It's by Locatelli. I'm sure you've all heard of it. If not, how? This pattern has been published a few years ago and it's been everywhere ever since. So this is it. I'm doing the seamless version because there's also a seamed version, and yeah, no. There's so much stockinette going on in this sweater that I just didn't want to do it as a seamless sweater. So no, yeah, no. Like I said, I changed the number of stitches that I cast on because I had finished it already up to the armpits and it was so wide. Look, this is what I meant with the neckline. I'm just not happy with it. It was so wide that I just didn't like the look of it. So I cast on 40 less stitches. And I'm really happy with it now, so good. I'm going to leave that here for my knitting in the future, which will be talked about in a minute. The other thing I have on the needles is in my A Needle Runs Through It big box bag, and it is the Starting Point Mystery Knit Along, again by Locatelli. And I finished Clue 1. Tomorrow, Clue 4 is going to be released, and I managed to finish Clue 1. And I'm going to show it. So please, if you are working on this and you do not want to be spoiled, just look away. Yeah, good. Now, here is the first piece. I have showed this last week. Piece number 1, Clue 1. I'm using 5 different colors because, you know, that's what the pattern calls for. And they are, let's start here. This one here is Woolen Vine yarns in the Ravenous Ivy, Poisonous Ivy, something Ivy. This here is Welthase yarns. It's a German Inidar in the colorway Blue Blessing. Another Woolen Vine yarns in Fairy Hair. Matte Tosh Merino Light in William Morris, and another Tosh Merino Light in Parchment. They're all single plies, so it's a very squishy shawl. I'm already loving it. And you know, the second piece looks exactly the same because you have to knit everything twice, and I did. So I am excited about it. I think it's going to be really nice in the end, just because I love the colors. It's not really, it's almost my colors, but not really, because there's this minty greeny Welthase yarn in there that's not so much me, but everything else, you know, it's brown and green, and I also do really like the pinkish yarn, so it's going to be really nice. And also, it's Locatelli. You cannot go wrong. That's just my opinion because I love her. So yeah, I hope to put a dent in this in the next few weeks or days. Like, now that I'm wearing it, it's starting to bother me. I think I should just take out a bit of stuff up here, but that would still make it wide here. So yeah, it's an around the house top. Good. That's all the things I'm actively working on. So let's talk knitting in the future. I'm going to start the Granito by Locatelli because all good things come in threes. So I should have 3 of her things started, which I actually do because I have at least 2 more of her sweaters on the needles, but in hibernation. So I'm going to start this one. Granito, it has pockets, which I love. I love pockets. And I'm going to use another red yarn, this time in Malabrigo Sock in the Archangel colorway. I love this color. It's my favorite Malabrigo color. I have 4 skeins. They're all 4, of course, very different because that is Malabrigo is always very different. So I'm going to alternate skeins, which I also do for the Foxy, so I don't mind. Good. Now this can go away. And the other thing I've showed before, I have brought this box out before and showed you all the wonderful mini skeins, or leftovers more like it, that I have gathered for the More of Magic shawl by Stephen West. So, bunch of Sakura leftovers, got the pattern printed, everything in here. And then I took out these 2 skeins of alpaca yarn that my husband brought me back from a work trip to Sydney. And I decided to pair it with Drops Alpaca. It's just, you know, Drops Alpaca. You all know this yarn. Because I always want to have one natural colored strand of alpaca going with my, you know, different leftovers. So I get the marled effect, but it's not going to be as crazy as his version. And then he released the Marled Magic sweater pattern. It looks like this. And I just love it. I think it looks super comfy and super cozy. And I'm going to make this instead of the shawl with the yarn that I decided to use. The only thing is I do not have enough of the alpaca yarn to go for the whole sweater, so I ordered more Drops Alpaca in a natural colorway. So yeah, this is going to happen. The only thing I already know I'm going to change is I'm going to weave in all the ends, and I'm not going to have them stick out at the bottom, because that's just not a look I'm going to pull off. So yeah, I have 2 more sweaters planned, and I hope I will get them on the needles very soon, because I'm super excited about both of these, and yeah, it's gonna happen. Now, of course, there's no spinning because I still don't want to spin. Now there's a hair somewhere. I'm just not in a spinning mood, and I'm kind of sad about it because I really want to spin, but on the other hand, I'm so much in a sewing mood right now that I just don't have time to spin, because, you know, my day has 24 hours and only a small amount of those is time where I can craft, and I have to just do one thing and not do the other on one day, and that's fine. It's what it is. Now for new stuff. I have only magazines to show today. I did not get any yarn in the mail, but I got magazines because I decided to buy a bunch of magazines. And also, I subscribe to Pom Pom magazine, and that's the first thing I'm going to show. I received the anniversary edition or issue of Pom Pom magazine, and I love it. I want to cast on so many things in this magazine. It's amazing. I always love Pom Pom magazine, or Pom Pom Quarterly. It has a great aesthetic. I like the patterns, most of them. And in this one here, I really like some patterns. The first thing I really want to make is the cover sweater. It's called Anniversaire or something like that. And the pattern is by Raverly, which is another favorite designer. And it is cables all over, which, you know, I love my cables. They use La Bien Aimée or La Bien Aimée. I don't know how to say it. DK weight yarn. And I have some Wollmeise DK weight in a sweater quantity. So I'm going to make this out of Wollmeise yarn. And I love this hat. It's called Bash. This will happen, not in blue, because I'm not a blue person. Then there are some more oversized sweaters. This one's called Soirée. And the patterns all have a party themed name, like anniversaire, soirée. There's a fête, which is I'm sure it's a French word, but we use it in German as well. And in German, it's called fête. So the soirée, I really like. It's an oversized sweater, just like I just said. And I really like these, Bon Bon, and, you know, of course, Holy Locatelli. I just would do them without the pom-pom because I think that's not very practical. But I'm going to make these because I like mittens. I also really like these socks, but I just hate knitting socks with a pattern because socks are my go-to brainless knit. So I'm not sure if these will happen. I like this sweater a lot and I have no idea how to say it, so I'm not going to try. But it's a dance party. It's a Scottish dance party. That I remember from Edinburgh Yarn Fest. So yeah, it's just so many nice patterns in here. And I really like this one, the Jamboree. Another oversized sweater. I'm very much into these because I have problems making a not oversized sweater fit because of gauge and math stupidity on my behalf. So I like oversized stuff because if it is an inch too big or 2 inches too big, it's just not a big deal. So yeah, very nice edition. I love it. It's great. If you are interested in it, I'm sure you can get it. And if you can't get it, you can always get the digital edition. And I would highly recommend it because there are a lot of great patterns in this. It's pom-pom. It's amazing. And speaking of amazing magazines, I decided to get the first 2 editions of the Making magazine. I got them from a German online shop. They also have a shop front. Is that the word? A real shop in Hamburg. It's called My Liz. And yeah, I ordered them from there, flipped through, went to the website and subscribed to it. So I have these are the pattern books or magazine from 2016, and I have the 2 for 2017 subscription, pre-order, whatever. And yeah. If you do not know Making magazine, it is all about making things yourself. That's a great explanation, isn't it? It has knitting patterns, it has sewing patterns, cross stitch patterns, embroidery, crochet, quilting, recipes. I think there's some gardening in there, and it's just really, really, really nice. There is no digital version of this. It says specifically on the website there is no digital version, only a real copy. And I'm just gonna show you some pages in here because I think they are just great. I'm going to try to find something I really want to make. And you know, something I can show you without showing too much stuff. Now, let's just go for these. This is a pattern by Susan B. Anderson, and I really like them. I'm not sure if they are something my son will enjoy, but they're still very cute. And you know, just the aesthetic of this whole magazine is amazing. There are a bunch of knitting patterns in here, and I actually really like this shawlette. I think it's gorgeous. And you know, something that you can wear easily without having to really think about it. You know, there are just some shawls out there that I love the look of, but I cannot wear them because I just can't make it happen. I don't know if that is a very me thing or not, but yeah. So this is the first one. It's number 1, Flora. Making number 2 is Fauna. It's a bit bigger. It's also not a cheap one. It's $20 and I paid almost 25 euros. So that's quite a bit of money, but it's worth it, I think. Not just some step-by-step instructions for things. And yeah, I'm gonna show you the the knitting patterns I like because This one here is a handspun stole. There's a picture tutorial for spinning on a hand spindle. There's a recipe in here for a fig pear and ginger pie. There are these sheep, so you can color them in. There's like everything for making stuff yourself. There's a article about homesteading. Now let's go for knitting. Let's go for knitting because this is a knitting podcast mostly. I love this one by Bristol Ivy. I really like her patterns a lot. I've yet to make one, but I like her aesthetic. And of course, my absolute favorite. This one here. The Stack Hat Pullover by Nora Gone. It's just beautiful. So yeah, the third magazine that is in the mail to me already is called, has the theme dots, and the next one will have lines as the theme. So these are just beautiful magazines. I'm very happy to have them because there's something nice to just flip through and look through. So I've been talking a lot. I'm talking a lot today. So now, this one here, I already showed. It was the first ever edition of Len magazine. And I was not the biggest fan of it, I have to say. But I did go out and got the second edition. And I like this one a lot more. Yeah, this one's nice. So here they are, 1 and 2. I'm not gonna show you everything, of course. I'm just going to show you some things, and I'm gonna go for what I really like and what I might want to make for myself. There's an article or an interview article, more an article about Andrea Maury in here, who's Drea Renee Knits. There's an article about Tukru Wool, who's, it's a yarn range. And now, where's a pattern that I really enjoy? There's also recipes in here. There's a travel guide for Helsinki, where I've been before and I loved it. It's a beautiful city. Now, I really like this one, Birds of a Feather. It's by Andrea Maury. And yeah, I like it. I think the patterns are not so easy to show on the podcast because the pictures are actually quite small, considering how big the pages are. Now, I like this sweater. There's a gigantic page, but the picture is quite small, and it's the one from the cover. So this one is way better than the first, I think. I like it a lot, and I'm excited to see how it will continue to change and be. So that's all the things I have for new stuff this week. A lot of new magazines, a lot of inspiration, a lot of things I want to cast on because, why not? And I also have an Indie of the Week this week. And it is my friend. This is some of her yarn. My Audrey cardigan that I wore last week and that I've showed a million times now was knit out of yarn that my friend Sandra had hand dyed, and I always said I'm hoping she will open an Etsy shop, and I'm trying to make her do it, and she did. She did open an Etsy shop. So I brought some of her these 2 skeins of her yarn to just show you how beautiful her dyeing is. Her prices are very good, like really, really good. So I have these 2. I hope to turn them into a Sunny Side Up by Isabel Crema. It's a top. And I just want you to go and check out her shop. She has a lot of sock yarn in there already. She also has a very nice sweater quantity in there. That's a pink with some green and some black speckles, I think. It's a merino yarn that is super soft because I have some of that stuff in my stash. And it's a 5 skein sweater quantity for a very, very, very good price. So you should go check it out. I'm going to link her in my show notes, which I will write up in the Ravelry group like I did last week. So please go check out her shop. Buy all the things so I don't have to. Please. Thank you. So, and her things are just so beautiful. Good. That's my Indie of the week. Her shop is called Kunterbunte Wolle, which is a German name because, you know, we are in Germany. So I'm going to link it. For reading, listening, watching, I'm still reading the Himbeermond book. Yeah, I have, I think, 80 pages left. It's okay. It's not as, it doesn't draw me in as much as I would have liked. But it's a good book. I'm still listening to the Lord of the Rings trilogy. I'm on book 2 right now. I have not watched anything really, so there's nothing to talk about. For sewing, I have stuff to show. I brought the vest that I made for my husband. Now, people who know about sewing, what can I do to make this change? It is bothering me a bit. I'm not happy with it, I have to say. Good. Back to things that make me happy. I made this vest. View D, this one here, is what I made. It's what he is wearing in the picture. The pattern is New Look 6251, and it's this pattern, unisex pattern for men and women for a jacket or a vest. I did the vest for my husband because he requested a vest out of soft shell fabric, and I made one. And here it is. So this is what it looks like. The soft shell fabric that I used is a very dark brown, as you can see, and I had this long fire engine red zipper. So I decided to go with this as the contrast color, and I did the pockets with this, the same color zipper, and the top stitching for the pockets in this red as well. Now, let me tell you about these pockets. Let's take it off. The pocket itself, the whole thing is not hard to do. I did the pockets on my normal sewing machine and then seamed the whole thing together on the serger. So it was really not a hard thing to sew. But the pockets, they are quite a bit of work because, as you can see, the whole zipper band is visible. That is how it's supposed to be. So when you open it up, you know, there's no zipper stuff inside because the whole zipper is on top. That takes a while, let me tell you. And it also leaves you with the problem of the ends, because when you have a zipper, when the zipper itself ends, there's 1.5 centimeters of the zipper band left. So I had to tuck that under and try to sew it down underneath without it showing. That was not the easiest thing to do, because if you can of course tuck it under so that it is invisible, but you know, the zipper also has to be able to be fully closed, so it cannot go too far to the teeth of the zipper. So yeah, that was a bit of a challenge. And yeah, I just don't understand why they had to sew it on top. You know, why just not make it like a zipper on a box bag? You know, why can't it look like this? Why does it have to be on top? It seemed more complicated than necessary. That's just my opinion. So yeah, but I did it as the pattern said, and I'm quite happy with how it turned out. Now this red seam here, as you can see, that is the actual size of the pocket, because with that seam you sew down your pocket piece. He wore it for his work trip and he said he's very happy with it. It's exactly what he wanted. So, you know, that's just great because he asked for it, he got it, he likes it. What else is there really? So yeah, this is it. I did the largest size, which is a size XL. And it's quite big actually. So yeah, but it turned out right. It turned out right. It did. And it also turned out quite nice. So I'm happy with this. I'm going to make another one that will look very much alike because I have so much of the fabric left that I'm going to be able to cut a second vest in a smaller size for my father. And I will make that for him, but not with the clashing red zippers, but some that are more subtle. So that's going to happen. And I'm also going to make this one here for my mom because she said she wants one as well. So that's, yeah, that's in my future. I'm going to have 2 more of these vests done. I also, yesterday, was sitting outside and I did sew a hat for my son. My husband was in America last week and he brought back fabric. And he brought back 1 yard of this pirate fabric specifically to make something for the kid. And it's a woven, you know, it's a quilting weight cotton. And I thought, oh, I really don't want to make a button down because he's not going to wear it. And, you know, with woven fabrics, I cannot really make a t-shirt. So I found this pattern in a Buddha magazine that I had down for something completely different. It's this one here. It's the Buddha, what are you? Issue number 6, 2014. And I flipped through looking for something very different. And I found kids patterns. And the first thing I found and really wanted to make were these shorts. And they are out of a woven fabric. So I thought to myself, huh, that's perfect because I do have woven fabric for the kid. I'm going to make these shorts. And I also knew already that I had to make a new hat for him for outside in the sun because the one I made last year is too small now. And I was looking through this magazine and here it is. There's a hat. Perfect. So I cut everything for the hat, cut everything for the pants out of this 1 yard of fabric. I was so happy that I could fit it everything in and then yeah. Let's talk about that later. Now, here's the hat. This one turned out really nice. It's like a bucket. As you can see, it's quite small because it's for a baby. It's too small for me. But it was super easy to make. I do have some puckers where I sewed this together. But really, who's going to care? I don't care. I would even leave this the way it is if it were a hat for me, because that's just the only thing I changed. You basically assemble the outer hat without the brim and the inner hat without a brim. Then you make the brim, attach it to the outer hat, and then they have you hand stitch in the lining. What I did instead, I folded the lining piece over. I pinned it from the outside and stitched in the ditch. And there we are. It's in. It's perfect. And does it look as beautiful as it would have looked if I had hand stitched it in? No. But it's the inside of a hat. No one's going to see it. And I think it's absolutely fine the way it is, you know. So yeah, I cut everything for this out of the 1 yard. I decided to go for the same fabric for the lining. And it fits, but I actually think it's quite small. So he will be able to wear it for the next few weeks, but definitely not next year. So this will go into a box with all the things I have handmade for my child that he outgrew for the next baby in the family. So yeah, easy to do. And then the pants. I was so happy I could fit it all on my side, and I needed something. I need something that I can rip apart and put back together. Now, what am I going to use? let's use this one here. So I had this piece of fabric left and I thought to myself, okay, I can make this work. And I cut my fabric in half and I just placed my two pieces on top of each other and I cut the pieces for the pants. What I did not do, let's see, this one here is my right side of the fabric, that's the wrong side. I placed them on top of each other like this. So if you know anything about sewing, you want to sew a pair of pants, you need your pieces to be mirrored because you have a right and a left leg. The way I did it, I cut 2 left legs fronts and 2 left leg backs, but no right leg. I should have placed it on top of each other like this, and I didn't. So I ended up with the exact same piece instead of mirrored pieces, and I had no fabric left because, I used up everything of the fabric, and I was so mad. And then my husband said, come, let's go downstairs to your fabric stash. We will find something. And we did. It's going to be an interesting pair of pants. So here is the original fabric. That's the front piece of the pants. And then, like I said, I have 2 of these. So he's going to have 2 matching pairs of pants with mismatched legs. One leg's going to look like this, and that's going to be the other one. It's just a denim. I'm not happy about this. So it has patch pockets on the back, and I'm going to have 1 pocket in the seam at the side. So here is the back. It's actually going to be seamed together like this. So this is the pair of pants I'm working on right now. I think they will be super cute in the end, but I had planned this very differently and I was not happy about it. Just really not. So let's show this pocket because I've attached it and I did this little triangle thingy at the top just to reinforce it at this point so it will not break. So yeah, this is the first pair. The second pair will look exactly the same because that's how I screwed it up. I had cut 4 of these. This one is perfect because it's mirrored. The second one isn't. So one of the pockets will have a backside showing in the end because I'm just not going to redo a pocket that no one's going to see. So yeah, I felt so stupid yesterday, and this has happened to me before when I was cutting a skirt for myself, and it happens, stuff happens, and I'm able to fix it in a wearable way. I hope so. It's going to be fine in the end, but really, I was just not happy. So that's it for my sewing this week. I do not have cross stitch. I do not have weaving. It will happen again. I have some small things for everything else. There are still a lot of knit-alongs and spin-alongs going on in the group. Please come over, check it out. There is the last month of the Combo Spin Sal Cal starts today. Or better, the Sal Cal is going to end at the end of this month. And I'm very happy for everyone who joined because it's just a very amazing thread to look through, very inspiring, and it makes me just happy to see how many people are working on this. And also on July 1st, so in a month, Tour de Fleece starts. And I have always been super excited about Tour de Fleece, and I have had years where I spun over 2 kilograms of stuff and I was super excited. And I just don't know yet what I want to do this year. I'm quite sure I will not join a team. I will not upload pictures each day. I will keep it to my Instagram account. And I just hope to get back into my spinning in this month. That's all I actually want. Spin at all. And yeah, that's just, yeah, like I said before, I'm so much into sewing right now that I just don't have time to also spin and knit and do everything I want to do. So some things just have to go on the back burner, and for me that is spinning at the moment. Good, that's it. That's all I have written down in my show notes. I hope you all have a wonderful week. I am going to go now and going to upload this so you can watch it. Yeah, I'm in a very weird rambling mood today. I'm sorry. So I hope you enjoy everything you do. Bye.